Beautiful Morning, first stereo single ever. Do you know that? Yeah.
No, I didn't even realize.
First stereo single ever.
All right, my favorite. What is the reason? Right? To me, it shows. It just shows the art of holding back and saving the best to last. I mean, you play the first verse with nothing. By the end of the song, you're doing rolls that are like.
Yeah, that's the only part of the record I even remember. I don't even remember what the actual rhythm was, the beat and everything. But I remember the rolls at the end, because we wanted to make it long, and then, you know, once I started playing, we just kept...
It's one of those songs that's like, it's not a very, it's so simple. I mean, you know, what is the reason for falling in love? It's the same thing over and over again. Yeah. It's the music to that song that makes that song great.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, it's one of those ones where it's really too bad that the drummer doesn't get the same amount of royalties as the writers get, because that song, the drum part,
no, it was
makes that song.
Yeah, yeah.
Those rolls are so fast at the end.
Yeah. I mean, don't try and tap your foot to it, because it's totally out of time. But it was fun. It was a fun record to do. We just went with it. You know, we did that a lot. You know, improvise it. You know, the end. We had no ending, so let's improvise.
So great. The first time,
that was the first time I ever heard, like, you know, the groove is going, and then you hear, da, 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 and you feel like you fall off a cliff, da, 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 whoa, you know, and then you're back into the song again.
So much of that stuff was from the jazz stuff, you know. You could,
but a lot of that stuff was like, you didn't practice it first and then go, okay, let's do it, or do you just like off the top of your head?
Most of it's off the top. You know, I mean, no, we never did that on our records. You know. Practice it, and then, you know, we just went for it, you know. I mean, we would practice the idea of what it was going to be, you know, and, you know, as long as it all worked with everything, we would have to rehearse it a little bit, but never what was going to be played in breaks and things like that. That was just whatever comes, because that's what we did on stage.
Yeah, well, that was the beauty of the producers back then too, and they want to capture what they saw on stage.
Exactly.
Today, they go into the studio, it's like, rehearse it, and then we'll go in and record it.
No,
you know, it's like,
Arif Martin was big on that. Don't over-rehearse them. You know, him and Tommy knew, let them be what they are. You know, just do what you have to do. I mean, when Arif had an arrangement, like How Can I Be Sure, or Girl Like You or something, that had to be thoroughly rehearsed, because we actually played live with an orchestra. So, I mean, you know, those guys, you know, we didn't want to waste their time. Right. So we had to know what everything was going on. But other than that, you know, they were very, very aware, and I can't credit them enough they were laid back, you know. They didn't want to overproduce us, you know. It wasn't about them as producers. It was about us. And they had that vibe. They were just great people. They were, you know.
Well, the Rascals was one band that when you heard them live, they sounded like that record.
Yeah. It was pretty close.
It was just like that record, you know, and that's what you want. A lot of bands today, because of Pro Tools, everything's perfect, and you know, when you hear them live, I'm like, these guys suck, you know.
Well, when you worked with Billy, I mean, how did you work together?
We all recorded at the same time. Me, Billy, bass, guitars, and he actually sang. Phil Ramone, because he played acoustic piano, Billy, Phil Ramone made him...
But did he sing just for everybody, or did he record?
Well, a lot of those vocals are on the...
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
He would have to fix a couple of things once in a while. But Phil made what they called the microwave oven. It was this big soundproofing. It was made out of like space age insulation or something like that, with packing blankets over the top of it and everything.
Cool, yeah.
So it would stop the isolation, you know, it would isolate the drums, because I was like right next to Billy when we played. Because that's, you know, like you guys, there's a visual thing too. It's like, I'm playing harder, Billy's playing harder, you're playing harder, Felix is playing harder. He'll go for something because you went for something. So that spontaneity in the studio was allowed to happen.
But all the parts that you put on these records, these classic records, were your parts.
Yeah.
I mean, Billy never said, I got this beat, I hear this beat, play this, play that.
He will say, he'll sing a song to me, and he'll you know, an idea that he has, and he might say, could you play like what Dino Danelli played on Love's a Beautiful Thing? And I'll say,
so I
can do that, but I can do something a little different, so somebody else say, you're copying Dino.
Sure. So he'll just give you reference points.
Yeah, because you always use reference points in the studio, you know. Like, oh, you remember where the Beatles did this, or you know, the way the Beatles go into a chorus here, or something like that, or you know, stuff like that. Like My Life, when he sings, I never said I wanted to be a second chance, and then the background goes, I never said you had to, you know, stuff like that. I said, you know the way in Hello Goodbye, Paul sings, you say yes, and then they go, I say yes, I say no, maybe no. They sing a whole different thing, but it goes with the background. Why don't you do that in My Life, you know? Or a song like one of the songs that starts off just with the vocal. I said, you know the way Winwood just starts, yesterday I went to Colored Rain, he just starts with the vocal?
Yeah, yeah.
Let's do a song like that, you know. Stuff like that we were doing in the studio.
Now, did Phil Ramone was an influence on you guys, I mean, on Billy a lot, and
Phil Ramone, you know, people...
Was he with you from the beginning?
From the Stranger album. Billy had out Piano Man, Street Life Serenade, then we did Turnstiles by himself. That's where I came in, Turnstiles. That has New York State of Mind on it.
And Phil wasn't involved in Turnstiles?
Not yet, no.
Okay.
And then The Stranger, Phil came in.
Yeah.
That's Just the Way You Are, Moving Out,
yes.
all those songs,
Yeah.
Scenes from the Italian Restaurant. And he was there for 11 records.
Great producer.
Oh. People ask me, they say, well, who taught you, how'd you learn to play? And I have to say, watching drummers, but Phil taught me how to play in the studio. When Billy first wrote Moving Out, it went like, bum, ba-da-da, da-da-da, and Phil goes, no, people want to hear, boom, da-da-da, da-da. You gotta have that.
Gotta have
you don't have that
thing going. Yeah.
You know, you don't have anything.
Yeah.
There's nothing to
No,
grab.
he had great ears. Still does.
Oh,
I mean,
God,
you know,
yeah. I saw Phil put songs together for Billy. Billy would have a part that maybe he played Phil on 2 albums ago, and then Billy would be writing something, and Phil would go, remember that thing you did 2 albums ago? Put it here right now. Boom,
Yeah,
boom.
yeah.
Then this song was complete. You know, it was unbelievable.
They know the spots. You know, they just know. You know.
Yeah. Well, you know the way Felix had Eddie to write, and you guys to bounce off of.
Sure.
Billy had Phil to complete the songs with. You know, not
Sure.
physically writing lyrics and stuff like that, but to give him those ideas, and the rest of the band. You know, Phil was once what made Billy the phenomenon.
You need that person to bounce off of. You know, you need that other person.
Yeah.
You know.
Phil said, somebody asked Phil, what made Billy the phenomenon that he became? And then Phil said, he wrote great songs, and his band came up with great arrangements.
Yes.
You know,
Yeah.
and that's what you guys were doing the same thing.
No.
They wrote great songs. You guys came up with great arrangements.
Yeah, the combination's unbeatable when you have that just magical. It becomes something that there's no way of explaining what that is. You know.
No.
Just you know, it's magic.